Hello.
Hey, good
How are you
morning.
both?
Doing
How
good,
was
thank
everyone?
you.
So, what are
Awesome.
we talking
Yeah,
about today?
yeah.
So we just put together a newsletter that went out about our projections for next year. And I thought it would be good to share that with our LinkedIn Live community. And then if you hear your pipe in, let us know your thoughts if you have anything additional or comments to what we're going to discuss.
So, you're saying um, we actually put out predictions for what we're thinking is going to happen in 2025?
We did.
Oh, we're pretty smart. That's pretty cool.
Yep, exactly.
And that's without a crystal ball.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Us along with everybody else that's out there, they're kind of, you know, giving their 2 cents on what's going to happen next year.
Yeah. If these were
Hmm.
like next year's football playoff picks, it'd be worth a lot of money for you. But anyway, it's our HR picks. No, and we do this every year. So this has
Hmm.
turned out to be something
Hmm.
that we've done in the last 5 years, and they've turned out to be um, pretty accurate for the most
Hmm.
part, and
Yeah.
we've enjoyed putting them out there. All right, so we'll dig into the first one, which I think you'd have to basically, really fall far off the ladder to not hit this one correctly. HR will more actively incorporate AI. I think we've seen a lot of things with AI. We've seen a lot of interest in HR of AI. We've seen a lot of tools. We've seen definitely a lot of hype about it. But I think what you're going to see this year is that people are actually going to dig in and start to use it. So I think the whole um, hype and build up and the whole should we or should we not is going to fade away, and a lot of people are a lot of companies are going to start actively using AI in their business.
Yep. I would agree. I think, and even I'm on the board of a Total Rewards Association, and as we were planning our 2025 kind of calendar of programs, one of the top ones is going to be kind of a hands-on session for HR people on how to use it, and and basically bringing problems in, and then actually solving them with AI. So I think this one's a huge one that's going to be a lot of folks are going to be focused on it.
I think so. I think
Hmm.
so. I think you're going to see
Yeah.
a lot more actual usages and case studies of AI in 2025. Okay,
Hmm.
second one. M&A market may see an uptick in activity. Well, it has to see something. It's
Hmm.
been so bad for the last 2 years. I mean, it's been
Hmm.
virtually non-existent. So I think if interest rates continue to fall and it gets a little bit easier to access cash, which I think will happen, this may start to see an uptick in activity.
Yeah, and I think on this one, even Jason and I participated in the HR M&A roundtable. This is one that the M&A roundtable is thinking that's going to be a big one, going into 25. Uh, and uh, like Jason said, I mean, more cash. Hopefully, the regulatory environment is going to also support it. Uh, and we think it's going to be a really really positive year in 2025 for M&A work.
Yeah, it'd have to be better than it was the last 24 months because it
Hmm.
was pretty dang slow for sure.
Yeah, I mean, we've been involved in several over the last couple of years, uh, and but I think that the private equity firms are a lot more going to become more active, and definitely a lot of the private equity firms have also raised a lot of new funds, which will have cash available to spend on these kinds of things.
Heather, you want to talk a little bit about the third one? I mean, we've been doing a lot in the benefit space, and we've seen a lot of things
Mhm.
happen in the benefit space. Anything that you want to talk about as it relates to this one?
I know that people or companies, organizations are seeing anywhere from 10 to 20% increase this year for 2025. And what it really comes down to, and what we've been working with in some of our broker partners, is being an innovative, creative, with what can be offered. I think what's going to happen is the companies, the brokers that are just cookie cutter and just stamp out the same thing year over year
Mhm.
are going to lose traction. And the brokers that are taking the time to be creative and find solutions and listen to organizations and what they're needing and what their employees are needing, will definitely be I believe at the forefront of the market. They're going to have to be, because things are changing. And you know, in recruiting or even retention, benefits are huge for people. It's
Mhm.
just as important as a salary or flexibility or in the office and virtual. This is one of the top priorities for people right now. And it's organizations and their insurance partners are going to have to get creative on how to do this, or um, employees are just going to, they're going to start losing faith that the company really cares about them and what they need.
Well, I think what we've seen
Mhm.
is there's a lot of really innovative approaches that are out there, and that sometimes some benefits providers aren't doing a good job of advocating those to their customers. And
Mhm.
so it really is amazing the different things that you can do with benefits and the different types of coverages and the different types of additional coverages you can add on. And so if you're in a situation where you're getting, hit with an increase and your benefits provider isn't talking to you about all of the different things that you can do and all the innovative approaches, you're losing out. And as benefits continue to increase, like you said, you're going to have a provider that talks to you about all the different things that are out there.
Yeah, and one of the things that I think I just saw a survey on HR Brew that talked about benefits, and more than 50% of the employees that were surveyed would move to a new company if they provided better benefits. Not for pay. Now people are
Mhm.
looking at the benefits, the benefit cost, what's the impact to them, and from an employee retention perspective, I think benefits are going to become a bigger, much more important. And from an employee perspective and from an employer perspective, if you're self-funded, and you incur one or two, huge claims, that's going to blow your budget. So we're starting to see a lot of you know benefit providers or benefit packages where urgent care is almost becoming kind of a way to provide that at no cost to employees, so they'll take care of themselves and do their preventative,
Mhm.
you know, uh, you know, physicals and other things, and that really helps drive down your benefit expenses, your benefit costs. So yeah, definitely, you know, if you're not seeing creativity from your broker, you need to start looking for another broker because that this is a big one.
Well, if you're an employee and spouse and you have
Hmm.
family, that's a big hit when
Hmm.
you're paying for those benefits out of your check. I mean,
Hmm.
Mhm.
it's amazing how much that costs you, even with the company portion being paid. And so one could understand if there is a better benefits package that allows you to pay less, people would be all over that because that is a, a very significant cost.
Hmm. Exactly. Exactly.
HR leaders becoming stronger influencers. I think this last year, 2025, I think, or 2024 rather, I think people kind of hung back this year, I will say. I think there was not a lot of, uh, leading from the front. I think there was a lot of, let's just get through a difficult year. There's probably not uh, a lot of desire to be out in front and suggesting new things, and being really vocal about what needs to happen organizationally. I'm sure there are those leaders that were out there, but for the most part, I think people were really just keeping the lights on and trying to keep the business moving forward and the HR team moving forward. I think now, perhaps in 2025, we're going to see people coming out a lot more strongly and talking about what needs to happen to influence in HR and in the organization going forward. I think we're going to see that more in 2025. I think it was took a big back seat in 2024.
Yeah, on this one, I think we've seen just a huge turnover in HR leaders and organizations. I think the average CHRO lasts 2 to 3 years, um, and so I think that the big one here, like you said, Jason, is uh, you know the majority of organizations out there, their biggest expense is people, and if they're not focused on the people side of the business, with the HR team, that's a huge challenge and a problem for the company. And then also, it's employee engagement, and I think a lot of surveys have shown companies that have better engagement are a lot more profitable. And so if you've got half of your employees that aren't engaged and aren't focused on the goals of the company, you've got a huge problem. And that employee engagement with the HR leaders, really pushing on that, I think is really going to be a big focus for next year.
Yeah, I mean, I think this last year, I don't think companies probably cared about as much as about engagement that they've had in the
Hmm.
past, where they
Yep.
were basically like, "Hey, you don't want to be here? That's fine. We're trying to manage headcount anyway, so
Yeah.
you know, you know, bye bye, see you later."
Yeah.
And I don't think that's been a huge lever that they've wanted to pull. But I think going forward into this year, that's going to change, and they're going to look at engagement
Yeah.
differently. Um,
Yeah.
I think increase in cost efficiency. I think what we're saying there is that there's still going to be a lot that's going to happen around wringing out efficiencies and bringing costs down. I don't think we're going to go back to these monolithic HR departments that had a lot of people in them, and huge TA teams, and a lot of resources. I think it's going to be a thin layer of contributors, um, a lot of outsourcing, and a lot of use of AI. And we're going to continue to see a lot of a work around making it more cost efficient for whatever's going on in the organization, whether that's HR or something else.
Yeah, I think we're going to return to in prior years, a lot of organizations looked at their G&A expenses as a percent of revenue.
Uh,
Uh, and then, and I think now what's going to end up happening is that those numbers are going to become even more precise, where you're going to say, what's your HR cost as a percent of revenue, and are you getting the value for that? And we've even been talking with some of organizations who have made the decision strategically that anything that's G&A is going to be outsourced. They're gonna focus on their core, business, and anything that's not generating revenue or supporting their customer, they're gonna find ways to get it done, through other partners, and so that model I think is going to continue. That model is going to probably expand as we go forward, and I mean the good news for that is our fractional model kind of that's kind of how our fractional model works. So we help with that cost efficiency, and so I think that's going to be a real positive for us next year.
yeah, I don't think I ever worked in a company in a time where they didn't just manage the G&A expenses incredibly tight. And it just sounds like we're going to go back to that. And you know it's difficult. It's sometimes difficult because along with managing the expenses, goes the statement, "You'll need to do more with less," which is always, challenging. And you hear that a lot. So, but yeah, I mean, I think that's our thoughts around 2025. Heather,
Yeah.
anything we've missed?
No, I would I guess as you mentioned before, the put a bow on it. I think that the increase in cost efficiency rolls up into every single one of the above bullets. That those first four bullets are what will have to happen in order to increase the cost efficiency. And um, I know I've said this before. I'll say it again. We even heard it yesterday. We have a client. We've hit our 1 year anniversary and being their HR support, and once again we've heard from them. Oh my goodness, we thought we were making an A plus in HR, and then we realized we were making an F in HR, and we are so glad that we brought on Thrive HR to help us with our HR support. Because they look back now and go, wow, we really didn't know what we didn't know, and now we do, and we're become a very good partner with this client. So
And I think the point there is we've helped them become more efficient, and we've reduced their costs associated with this space that they had before. We've done that for most of our clients. I think not most of it, all of our clients. We've
Yeah.
done that. We've made them more efficient and reduced cost.
Yep.
Just about all you can ask for.
Yep. And we've increased the level of service and the quality of service for employees and managers. So, that's the other side of it too. It is, you can do the cost reduction, but really provide, you know, lower value from a service perspective. But I think in every case with our clients, the level of service has increased, and we're putting together some year-end, reports to show them all of the detail of work that we've completed, and some of that's even kind of surprised me, the amount of work that we've done. So, in a short period of time. So it's kind of cool to see that.
Well, we look forward to seeing how these play out for the rest
Yep.
of 2025, and we look forward to talking to everybody after the new year.
Yep.
Have a great rest of your holiday season.
Yeah. Merry Christmas, everybody. Have a great holiday season.
All right,
all right,
take
here's
care.
to 2025.
All right,
Okay.
bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.